Both of my sections are the same, but I just to be sure in case there's something different between the two. Here is our writing 20504. I'll switch over to student view. Okay, all right. So in terms of staying in touch, this is how you can expect to hear from me. If I have something that I want the whole class to know, I will put it in announcements. So you can set up your alerts so that announcements goes to your email or text you. There's any kind of alert you want, it will be set up. But I will also, anything I put in announcements, I'll also put in an email. So that's how you're going to hear from me. I want to show you the content section, which has some changes. So the first change, of course, is the syllabus. So courses start back up today. In red, I have the 3 Zoom meetings that we have. There are not very many of them. So this format where we're all together, I check in with all of you. If you don't do the check-in, it doesn't count for you being here. So show up, have your camera on like you did, nice work. So all class Zoom meeting today, another one on April 14th, and then the final and third all class Zoom meeting is on the 30th. This week you have something due. So already this week you have an annotated bibliography due in a couple of days. You've done all the work for it. You've done all the research for it. It doesn't have to be additional research work. It's just putting it together. And I put together a bunch of videos. Where are those? Here, okay, in annotated bibliography. If you'd like to just go to YouTube and run through them all together as a playlist, you would just click the link here, and that will take you to a YouTube playlist. There are 4 videos. Another way you could do it is to open them up one by one here. In addition to the videos, there are examples. So there's a sample annotated bibliography that shows you what it looks like for it to be full points. There's also an example of notes. So what's the process? How do you go from the notes that you already took on the research you did and turn that into the bibliography? So I work through that in the film. Let's see, I think I do that in video 3. And video 4 is about APA and MLA format. I also have examples of MLA and APA format. So everything you need to explain exactly what I want for the bibliography is here in this unit. So going back to the syllabus, what you can also expect from me next week is that on April 6th, another unit will drop with a bunch of videos. So the next unit that I'll give you will be exactly what I want for the paper. So I'll have, 2 or 3 minute videos on each of the things that I want. And that will add on to something that's already up there, which is I already do have sample research papers. And this is a sample of a paper that's marked up. I think that's a little bit overwhelming to look at. So rather than have you look at this as an example, it's hard to depict exactly what's going on. I'll walk you through each of the things that I'm looking at. Or looking for is a better word for it. The things I'm looking for in the grading. Okay, going back to the syllabus. So that unit will show up on D2L on April 6th. Also next week, I have 15-minute one-to-one meetings with each of you. And so you should look at your email, and you should look, there should be 2 emails from Doodle, and Doodle will ask you to sign up for a time to meet with me between April 6th and 10th. And there's a second Doodle that will ask you to meet with me between April 20 and 28. And I'll explain what those 2 different meetings are. I also have an error here that I can fix. This should say 30-minute meeting. So the second meeting is when I'll be talking with you about your draft. and how to get a better grade on your final draft. So that meeting will be a little bit longer. The meeting next week between April 6 and 10 will be short and much more focused on what did your annotated bibliography look like, and how are you going to put that together into a paper. And hopefully by the time we meet, you'll have had a chance to look through the online instruction on how I want the paper set up. So we can talk about what your questions are. And if you need more time after that 15-minute check-in, we can set up more time. So it's just one initial 15-minute meeting with everyone. And then as needed, people can sign up for additional time with me. Okay, so the draft of that paper is due on April 14th. And after April 14th, you will have a chance to do some more work on one more assignment, which is the theory of writing. The theory of writing is also here. And so that's, oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's good to know. I need to fix that unit. But okay, so the second prompt, the midterm prompt, is what you'll be working on at that point. So while I'm reading your paper, you're working on your theory of writing. So I have to get that turned around and grade it for you. Okay, so that assignment is due on the 17th. And then after I've had a chance to read your papers, between the 20th and the 28th is when I'll meet with you. So here's how this works. If you hand in an A paper, an A- paper, a B+ paper for your first draft, then you could consider it, okay, done, right? So you followed directions so carefully, you worked so hard on it that you really don't need to write a second draft. You could be done with the course at that point, except for this one last final exam project, which is Theory of Writing Part 3. So you can decide to skip doing a rewrite and simply hand that first draft in again and have your same grade that you got on it count for the final draft. So final draft is due on April 30th. It's 20% of your grade. So if you feel happy with what you did on your draft, you could just have that grade count again. But if you didn't do well in the draft, that gives you more time to work with me. And as people kind of drop out who've already gotten their A, then that gives me more time to work with people who need more help. And none of you need to know like who's who in that group. It's totally, hidden. No one knows what grade anyone else got because we're still all going to come back together on the 30th. So regardless of whether you decided to go for the one draft option or not, everyone needs to show up on the 30th. And that's when I'll walk you through this. So for you, it's May 5th is your final exam date. I'll walk you through that third theory of writing. So that's the final paper. So potentially, if you do really well on your first draft, you have a gap of time. So you science folks, you can be, getting some stuff out of the way and then just focusing on your science. So it's pretty So over here on, this is the homepage of our Writing 205. Over on the right-hand side, you have to scroll down a bit, but my office hours are there. So these are all the times that I'm available. All you would need to do is just let me know that you're coming. So between 12:30 and 1:45, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, 12 to 2. But I have many other times beyond that. The times I'm going to be kind of busy and not able to meet in sort of free hours would be next week, because I'll be doing 15 minutes with 50 people. But then the week after that, I'll have more time and I can meet with you in office hours.